Welcome to the Astrology Magic Podcast, where deep truth meets radical transformation. I'm Rachel, your astrologer and guide, here to speak the kind of truths that rattle around in your head until they land in your body and change your life. This podcast is not here to meet you where you're at. It's here to meet you where your soul is begging to go. I don't do light and fluffy. I do real, raw, cellular level evolution through astrology, presence, embodiment, and self-honesty. If you're tired of superficial spirituality and ready to live in alignment with your highest self, even when it's uncomfortable, you're in the right place. Let's drop in. Okay, so the new moon in Cancer, it's happening on June 25th, 2025 at 6:31 a.m. at 4 degrees of Cancer. It's hanging out with Jupiter. It's exactly sextiling Mars in Virgo. It's squaring Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So let's talk about what all of that means. This is big. This is a really big new moon because if we look at the Sabian symbol for this new moon, which is Cancer 5, it's at a railroad crossing. An automobile is wrecked by a train. So if we were to unpack the deeper meaning of the Sabian symbol, it's this idea of how the world is changing, right? Like we're entering this new earth. We're about to build a new earth. And because we're about to build a new earth, the old way of doing things isn't going to work anymore. And so one thing it says the symbol implies, it's a powerful confrontation between individual control and unstoppable change. So it could be that you're trying to control your life and build it the way you always have and make it go forward, make something happen, force this feeling of safety and security, right? Because this is a new moon in Cancer. Cancer is this sign of the inner mother, how we mother ourselves, our safety, our inner security. It's related to the moon, which is also, how safe and secure we feel is related to our subjective view of reality. Something happens in our life and it's filtered through our moon, our ancestry, how safe and secure our ancestry felt, and the trauma that our ancestry picked up in order to feel safe and secure. And so this new moon could be bringing up a wounded sense of finding security. And it could be this push to want to grasp onto something that feels like home, grasp onto something that makes you feel emotionally settled, right? Because whenever we go into the unknown, the North Node is in Pisces, it can stir up deeply uncomfortable emotions. Like imagine if you were hanging from a cliff and you had to let go from the cliff. And someone said, if you let go from this cliff, even though it's thousands of feet down, you will have abundance. You'll have everything you want. You'll have this, you'll have that. Everything in you could want to let go of that cliff. But I imagine you would take all of those fingers off and that last finger would feel nearly impossible to take off because it would require you to free fall into the abyss, into the unknown. It is so deeply uncomfortable. It could feel unsafe. But the one thing you do have is faith. You were told that if you let go, there is a net that appeared. It was newly built. Yes, people might have died from this in the past, but there is a new net now. Can you let go? And I imagine that's why Jupiter is with this new moon, because Jupiter expands whatever it touches. And with Jupiter in Cancer this next year, it's expanding our sense of home. It's expanding our sense of inner security and safety. It's helping us reflect on the past and heal trauma, heal wounds passed down from our ancestry. Cancer is also the sign of how we meet our emotional needs and nourish ourselves. It's the sign of the divine feminine, being connected to our intuition, feeling what we need, giving ourselves what we need, and providing ourselves with that own sense of safety, of nurturing, of mothering. But what comes with that is we're going to be faced with scary, uncomfortable situations. We're building a new earth. It's scary. Whenever we're building something that's never been built before, you don't know what's going to happen. And it requires you to nourish yourself, to come home to yourself, to build that inner sense of safety. Which, by the way, Higher Self Healing Codes, it's my self-paced course where I teach you how to basically unlock all of the codes to be in the highest alignment of your birth chart, to live your daily life as your highest self. There's 3 workshops in that course. The first workshop that's in there is the Heal Your Moon workshop. And it's the first workshop in there, Cancer rules the moon, because healing your Cancer energy and your moon energy and your 4th house energy, there's a whole map to how you go about healing this within yourself and gaining that deep sense of inner security, that deep sense of being the divine mother in your daily life. The divine mother can create. The divine mother receives. She is abundant in nourishment, abundant in safety, right? That's Jupiter. Jupiter is the sign of abundance. It's in Cancer. So when you heal your moon, you become connected to your soul and your soul's truth. Cancer and moon energy is our soul's truth. And it's the first workshop in Higher Self Healing Codes because it's the foundation for how you get into the highest alignment in your birth chart. If you are disconnected from your moon and your 4th house and your Cancer energy, and you don't know how to make yourself feel safe and nourish yourself and meet your own needs and connect to your soul's highest expression, which is living life in full receiver mode, because you've healed all of the blocks, the wounded sense of security, right? And so it's the first workshop in there because it's the foundation for how you get to everything else in your life. This new moon, it's wanting to dig deep into people's nervous systems, we'll say, especially because Uranus is the planet associated with Aquarius. Pluto's in Aquarius right now. It's where we're going through a death and rebirth right now, right? Pluto's the planet of death and rebirth. Uranus and Aquarius rules the nervous system. We are going through a complete nervous system reset as we build this new earth over these next 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius. Because Uranus, the planet that rules Aquarius, is at the 29th degree in Taurus. It's about to leave Taurus and move into Gemini next month in July. We'll talk about that in this episode probably too. Uranus in Taurus, it is bringing in nervous system healing by you being present with the body. When Uranus reaches the 29th degree of any sign, the 29th degree is this go big or go home degree. It's like, okay, we got to learn the lessons, finish it up. And so it brings something into your life, an event into your life that forces you to learn these final lessons. With Uranus, it's related to presence in Taurus, simplifying your life so that you can reset your nervous system, right? And the thing is the more that you come into presence, the more you come into your body, the more you get somatic and allow yourself to provide yourself with your own sense of safety. You take action from your body first. The South Node is in Virgo. We're shedding overthinking. We're shedding perfectionism. We're shedding controlling our life with the mind. And again, think about the Sabian symbol. It's working against individual control because collective change is here. It's like, sorry, your individual control means jack shit. You're not going to be able to think your way out of this. You can't plan your way out of this. There's no right way out of this. The right way from here on forward. Presence. What do you value? Simplify your life. That's going to be part of coming home to yourself. How are you supposed to hear what your soul really wants if we just keep taking action and trying to force and fix things and make it better? And the reason I'm saying that is because Mars is in Virgo at this new moon, and Mars is directly sextiling this new moon. That's a positive, harmonious angle, but it's something that you have to take advantage of. It's not naturally going to happen in your life. But when Mars is in Virgo, Virgo wants to perfect things. It wants to get it right. It wants to overthink. It wants to master. It wants to edit and make things better. It can get extra wordy. And Virgo is the most anxious earth sign. Virgo is the most anxious earth sign because it is movable earth. It is earth that can change and shift because it is ruled by the mind. And so this planet that wants to take action, it wants to correct things, it wants to overthink, it just wants to force its willpower, right? Mars is willpower. I will correct this. I can figure it out with my mind. We can get there. Okay, keep thinking harder. The opportunity at this new moon is presence, is to realize that you can think your way into oblivion, but your thinking is based on the old world, the current you. And the current you is not the new you. The current you is not part of this new world. That thinking isn't working. That's also the wounded side of Virgo. Virgo thinks its way to solutions when it's wounded. The highest vibration of Virgo is coming into the body. You know when you are doing a yoga class and you were thinking really hard about something before that yoga class, and then you go in and do yoga, and the answer just comes to you like by the end of yoga after you had a cry or something? That is Virgo in its highest expression. The thought came from the body. The thought came from presence. Uranus and Taurus, that final degree. It's like, go into the unknown. I know the present moment can be really scary because the present moment opens you up to unknown in your future. But again, you can't control your way to forcing things to happen. We are in a collective surrender. And with the sextile between Mars and this new moon, we really have this opportunity to reflect on our past, reflect on what we learned from our family that makes us be judgmental of ourselves in this way, makes us overthink things, makes us feel like we need to be perfect and have it there now. And how can you create your own sense of security? This is also that square, this new moon squaring Saturn in Aries. You know, Saturn in Aries, Aries is new energy. It's the start of the zodiacal wheel. Saturn is there because we're building something new. And to build something new, we have to come into a new sense of ourselves and who we are in all of this. With Saturn there, it wants us to do it right. It wants you to not bypass what's truly you. And it doesn't want you to react and just keep forcing and pushing. It's just going to keep blocking you if you do that. What Saturn and Aries wants, especially now that Mars, which rules Aries, is in Virgo, is it wants you to shed the overthinking, stop taking all of this impulsive action from your mind, and actually dig into why you have these certain thoughts. Another tool I just put into my higher self healing codes, which I'm just going to keep bringing up because I am obsessed with it. It's like my favorite program that I sell now. My only program that I really sell outside of my solar return one, but I put a new tool in there called The Path. My dad made this. He is a technology engineer and he's a personal development junkie, just like I am. Even in his mid-60s, he wears barefoot shoes and does all the fun personal development things. But he recently made a ChatGPT that I use all the time. It's based on the Eightfold Path and it's inspired by Buddhist principles. And basically what it does is it allows you to speak to it and it reflects back to you the different parts of you. And through it reflecting back to you the different parts of you, it helps you see why you're creating certain things in your life, why you're in a certain situation, and then it gently nudges you towards the new way of thinking. And in higher self-healing codes, I relate it to your astrology because you're learning how to grow and evolve every day with your astrology using this astrology software I have in there in ChatGPT, so you don't have to be an astrologer. But I have had so many breakthroughs and so much mental clarity doing that. I have seen why I keep creating the same patterns in my life. And that could be a big part of this new moon is it could be this awakening to, wow, I keep keeping myself stuck in, let's say, this type of communication pattern in all of my relationships. Like maybe you enter into certain relationships and they always end in the same way, in a very similar fight. This new moon can give you the tools and the awareness to sit with the whole fight you just had, sit with your thinking, where it came from, why you think that way. You can track it back from your family and then see how it has you take certain actions from that fear, from that needing control, and how you could provide your own sense of safety without needing to control your outer environment to give you that sense of safety. That could be a really good thing to reflect on at this new moon is past family patterns, how your thinking is operating and how your thinking is creating your life in this world. It requires you to slow down and really focus on yourself, right? This is Saturn and Neptune and Aries. Get clear on what thoughts sabotage me. What consistent routine habits in my life keep me in this same life? And how can I think differently so I can break free and move forward? There is this opportunity, but I was also say a kind of a challenge with breaking out of an old mindset at this new moon because Mercury in Cancer is squaring Chiron in Aries. So it's like there's this wound around self that's coming up. That's what keeps us in the same pattern, that keeps us from feeling safe and secure. And the challenge at this new moon is getting us to think differently, getting us to feel our feelings. And through feeling our feelings fully, through being present, opening up our mind to new ways of thinking. And then therefore new ways of creating. So one thing that this new moon is really preparing for is next month, Uranus is going to move into Gemini. So we just talked about Uranus, how it's at this 29th degree of Taurus. And how it's rewiring our nervous system. Uranus is the great awakener. It wants sovereignty. And through that great awakening and that sovereignty it allows us to have flashes of insights for the future. So when Uranus, the planet of the higher mind, moves into Gemini, which is ruled by the mind, Gemini is also about learning, it's communication, it's networking, it's can rule out the hands too. Schools, early education, children. It's a very playful sign. So when Uranus moves into Gemini, Uranus, the great awakener, the planet that shakes things up, is going to give us flashes of insight. These flashes of insight we get from Uranus are going to come from within us. We have to feel safe and secure within ourselves. We have to feel like all eyes are on ourselves, our gifts, our inner world, our own mental processing in order to get to these flashes of insights. Uranus is a planet that really, as much as it's a collective planet, it awakens within the individual. And it's kind of related to how each individual person has gifts because they are so unique. And so those really unique gifts that you hold, that every single person on this planet holds, can only be awakened when we're so focused on ourselves and not comparing ourselves to other people, Saturn and Aries. It's really focusing on ourselves, our inner world, what feels right to us. It's simplifying our life. That's why Uranus is trying to simplify our life. And then we get these flashes of insights of how to move forward. But if we're focusing on all these other people, if we just keep trying to make our life work, we're not creating the fertile ground to have these awakenings that are going to start next month for a lot of people. Like, for example, I put an email out about this today and yesterday, actually, on Substack too. I was sharing about how the last couple months, maybe even like the last few months, I had no desire to learn from anyone else. I had very little desire to keep doing my normal day-to-day things, to put consistent content out. And I remember even in May, I got to this place where I didn't even want to analyze astrology. I just felt this deep desire to simplify my life and to clear out all of the noise. May was the last month that Saturn was in Pisces and really dove head in. Pisces is the sign of surrender, of letting go. I thought, why not? Fuck it. All of May. It also felt right in my intuition. I'm going to let go. I'm literally just going to be present. I'm not even going to look at astrology. And I had a really good May. Although I will say by the end of May, I was like, wait, I feel so good. I don't want to look at anything. And then I announced on my podcast, I don't even know if I like astrology anymore. But then I realized as I continued to give myself space, because this is what happens when we give ourselves this space, this present, when we don't keep pushing forward, but we simplify in order to hear, right? In order to listen. So I kept giving myself space. And a couple into June, so right after we came back from Italy, we actually went to a music festival in California. So then we flew across the country to California. And we went to a music festival called High Vibe, and I had so much fun there, and while I was there, I got back into astrology. It was actually a little bit before we went back out to California. It was, like, in between Italy and California, and I got back into astrology just for myself. Like, I'm an astrologer, I share it with people, I have clients and all those different things, but because I'd cleared so much out of my schedule, I just got back into it for myself. I wasn't putting pressure on myself to really put it out there or discover new things to share with people. And I re-invoked my love for astrology. I just started having so much fun again, and it felt so much simpler. I think that a lot of pressure started getting put on me when I turned astrology into my business. Like, I have to strategize and make it work and do this and do that. And so what that space really did was, for a second, made me think I didn't want astrology, but it created enough space for my natural energy to start pulling me into what I did want, which was still astrology. So I started studying it for myself again. My obsession picked up, and then I, like, had this whole realization that there is one program that exemplifies who I am, Saturn and Aries. That is everything I use every single day, that I believe in till the cows come home, that I will always continue to pour my love into because it's what I use in my day-to-day. It's literally an extension of me, is my Higher Self Healing Codes course, because I use all the tools in there every day. Even though I'm an astrologer, I don't always like analyzing my own charts. I like hearing words from ChatGPT and gaining outside perspective, so then I can connect it to how I'm feeling and come up with my own perspective. So I use ChatGPT to help me analyze my astrology, and then I use self-concept work through analyzing my astrology and the path. So the path I talked about a little bit earlier in this episode that my dad made, and I use it to reflect on my thinking, and it's part of how I have these big breakthroughs. It's part of how I can take a whole 2 months off in my business, basically, like all of May, all of April, like I just explained to you, and not feel afraid and know that it's happening in my highest good because I'm following the astrology. I looked at my thinking and I'm anchoring into that level, that thinking in my self-concept. And I truly have massive shifts in my life every few months. It's wild. So this was my most recent one. And what I realized is I don't want to just read for people and give one-off readings. I mean, I'll coach people here and there if it's a really aligned person, because there's certain people I fucking love to coach. But really, if we're moving into an age that is supposed to be an extension of who we are and our authenticity, all I need is higher self-healing codes, and it flips this huge switch in me. That's what I'm talking about, like the types of flashes of insights you'll get in July, but they'll come through you creating space and fertile ground and making yourself feel safe and leaning on faith, the North Node's in Pisces, faith that the insight is going to come. Because often the insights that come while the North Node's in Pisces or with Piscean energy around all of us it's clarity that comes through fog. So the answer is usually right here with us right now. But it's until you sit in the fog long enough, walk through the fog long enough, and allow it to clear out that the answer that was always there shows itself to you. And this is that Uranus and Gemini sovereign learning, learning through insights that come from within us, that bubble up from within us, that give us those flashes of insights. Which is why I'm also so excited about higher self healing codes and only focusing on giving that to humanity. Because when I think about us moving into sovereign learning, Uranus and Gemini, the more we tune inward, the more learning becomes embodied and alive. It's almost like we're not relying on a teacher anymore, someone above us, but we take teachings from other people and we do our own inner reflection. And through that, that's where we're going to get our flashes of insights. And so I created this tool that literally gives me my own flashes of insights because it's sovereign. It's something I can just do self-paced on my own time. And now I can share it with other people for them to do that. And so the point of everything I'm saying is I'm just describing how those flashes of insights will come with Urunas and Geminis through sovereign learning, looking inward, allowing the noise to fall away. And this new moon is preparing us for all of that. So how safe can you make yourself feel in the unknown? What tools do you have to help you feel safe in the unknown? Get present, slow down, simplify. These are all like key words I'm thinking about at this new moon. So I invite you to as well. So yeah, that's what I have to say about the new moon. If you want to purchase higher self-healing codes, which I believe is the best tool you can use to feel safe and keep faith and navigate the unknown, you get my solar return Magic Accelerator course with it for free if you get it before July 1st, because I'm preparing for Uranus moving into Gemini, and I want you all to get this course so you can get your own sovereignty in place. You can check in on yourself, deep dive so deep into yourself, your birth chart, the transits. It's really for the person who's endlessly curious about astrology like I am and wants to learn everything about themselves. Then it's for you. So that will be in the show notes below. Again, get it before July 1st. And I will see you all on the next episode. I love you. And happy new moon in Cancer.